All right, welcome back. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bordas and Bordas Hotline. Bob Pompeani, Paul Zeise with you. We have another tweet. Pittsburgh Pirate Guru. Any other owner in baseball would have fired Neil Huntington after he traded Garrett Cole. Well, again, this is all about what your expectations, what your accountability is. Paul, I want to get back to the previous tweeter who wanted to know what the Pirates could do to be playoff competitive in 2020. I don't see an answer to that unless they go way out of character and start spending more money than they've ever spent. Do you?
Well, I mean, I think they would have to add 2 pitchers, and they would have to add a catcher. I mean,
their catching has been bad.
That's what I mean. If you add 2 pitchers and a catcher, the other part of it is you have to give third base over to Brian Hayes and hope that he's ready.
How about if he isn't?
Well, then you've got a problem. I mean, I think Colin Moran is what he is. To me, if it were up to me, this final part of the season, I would have my infield as Hayes at third, Cole Tucker at short, and Newman at second, because that's what it should be for the future. And then put Will Craig in right field and see what he can do out there.
Or Josh Bell in right field and put Will Craig at first base.
Well,
if Josh Bell can't throw any better, maybe that's the place, especially if Polanco can't come back.
Well, I think you do whatever you can do in the offseason to trade Polanco. I don't understand why he's still around.
I was surprised they didn't trade Cabrera.
I mean, all those guys.
I mean, what are they going to do next year for you? Let's go to Herb and Renfrew. What's up, Herb? How are you?
Hi, Bob and Paul. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I want to talk about the Steelers. I said, looks like the Steelers got a good group of young running backs. You think they'll use them all as running back by committee, or you think they'll run the wheels off James Conner?
You know, that's a good question, Herb. Paul, I think that's a tough thing because Mike Tomlin normally goes by workhorse. Benny Snell's a workhorse. He was in Kentucky. James Conner seems to do better that way. Jalen Samuels is more of a compliment, but I think it's going to be workhorse first.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way that Mike Tomlin likes to do it. He likes to get one guy going and likes to get him into the game, into the flow of the game, and likes to see what he can do. And, you know, if you're the second or third running back, it's not quite as much fun because there are games you might not get in the game, or you might get 1 or 2 or 3 carries, and that's about it. We
have tweets. The Rooper says, too many PI calls now in football. Make penalty 15 yards. It'll change the game for the better. Well, that's a debate that goes on all the time. Should it be spot of the foul because those are huge amounts of real estate you're giving, or 15 yards? We'll get back to that. In the meantime, let's go to Brian in Evansburg. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Hey, I wanted to call and get my comment and also ask a question. I did not like how the suspensions were handed down from the Reds. David Bell should have got a 20-game suspension. Amar Garrett should have got a 15-game suspension for their rules in this. And also, the Reds manager came back onto the field. Who is the one to be responsible to keep, to make sure these managers do not come back out onto the field, during games when a manager and a player gets thrown out?
Thanks, Brian. Paul, what do you think? First of all, I don't think you can contain him. He was really raging.
There's
mad.
Really nobody. Well, there's nobody there's really nobody. I guess the police or the security guards, but they're not going to mess with. It's really on your honor system.
Right.
I think if you come back into the dugout, remember when Bobby Valentine came back into the dugout with a disguise? He had a mustache and stuff on, and he got suspended for that. But to Brian's point, I mean, he should have at least got 20 games.
Oh,
in my mind,
totally
agree.
Listen,
and because they said basically, he incited a riot. He was aggressive toward the Pirates. He also was thrown out of the game and came back onto the field, and he's a multiple-time offender.
Right.
And they give him 4 games or 5 games? That's absurd to me.
6. He should have gotten 20. We said that last night, and I still agree with it. But for whatever reason, they did what they did. In the meantime, we have a lot coming up this weekend. Be sure you join us at 11:35 on Saturday night. Another training camp special. Back to work with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 11:35 on KDKA. That's going to do it for us. For Paul Zeise, 93.7 The Fan and the Post-Gazette, I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on KDKA-TV, and we'll be back here tomorrow at 10:35.